All right, today we're going to do a deep dive, a forensic breakdown of one of the most effective and frankly cruel scams out there, the utility shutoff fraud. This isn't just about someone losing a bit of money. This is about predators hijacking a person's fundamental need to feel safe in their own home. So let's get into it.
You know, this really gets to the heart of it. The fear here isn't just about an empty bank account. It's about losing independence, losing your connection to the world, and for so many, it's a direct threat to their health. Scammers have figured out how to weaponize the very things that are supposed to keep us safe.
So, to beat this thing, we've got to understand it inside and out. We're going to look at the fear they exploit, break down the anatomy of the scam itself, unpack the psychological traps, build our strategic defense, and then wrap it all up with a protective mantra you can use.
Okay, so let's start at the foundation of this entire scam: fear. Why is the threat of losing your electricity or your heat such a powerful weapon? Well, because it taps into something much deeper than just simple convenience.
For a lot of people, especially seniors, we're talking about what experts call a survival baseline. See, electricity isn't just for watching TV. It's for powering an oxygen tank. It's for keeping life-saving insulin cold in the fridge. It's for having heat in the winter. And the scammers? They know this. They aren't just threatening to turn off your lights, they're threatening to pull the plug on your entire life support system.
The whole goal here is to trigger what's called infrastructure panic. It's this overwhelming, gut-wrenching fear that your safe space, your home, is about to fall apart. And it's no accident that these calls spike during a heat wave or a blizzard. That timing is completely intentional. It's designed to make you feel as vulnerable as possible, to completely short-circuit your ability to think clearly. So now, let's pull back the curtain and look at how this machine is actually built. Because this isn't random. It's a cold, calculated system, an engine designed for one thing and one thing only: to manufacture fear and extract money.
This right here is the scammer's playbook. You can see it's got 6 distinct phases. They start by faking trust. Then they create a believable problem. Inject this insane urgency, exploit your personal vulnerabilities, switch you over to a payment method they can't trace, and then poof, they're gone. We're gonna walk through the most critical parts of this right now.
The scam actually begins before the phone is even answered. They use something called ID spoofing. It makes your caller ID display the name of your real utility company. It's an insidious and brilliant move because it bypasses your very first line of defense. You see Regional Electric on the screen, and you answer the phone already believing the call is real. They've borrowed that trust before a single word is spoken.
Okay, next up is the story, the pretext. The scammer, sounding super professional, very concerned, tells you there's been a system glitch or some payment error. And this is the crucial moment. This is when the victim, who knows they've paid every bill on time their whole life, starts to question themselves. They think, wow, maybe there was a mistake. And just like that, the hook is set. And that brings us to the absolute psychological choke point of this entire scam, the technician in transit ruse. The scammer will say something like, "Ma'am, I am so sorry, but we've already dispatched a technician. He's just down the street and is scheduled to cut your service in the next 30 minutes. This isn't just creating urgency, it's lighting a fire. That 30-minute window is scientifically designed to trigger your brain's fight or flight response, a state of panic where logical thinking becomes almost impossible.
And right here, this is where the manipulation flips. Up until now, the scammer has been creating a problem. Now, they're going to use your own life, your own vulnerabilities, as leverage to solve it for you, but on their terms.
This is what we call the medical leverage play, and it is just unbelievably cruel. The scammer will ask these probing questions. Does anyone at home need power for medical equipment? Or do you have any medications that have to stay refrigerated? They take your honest answers and they twist them into weapons. Suddenly, they're not just threatening your lights anymore, they're threatening your health, maybe even your life, using your own words to crank up the fear and force you to do whatever they say, right now. So that's the how. But the bigger and maybe more important question is, why? Why does this scam work so well, especially on people who are incredibly responsible? People who have a perfect track record of paying their bills? Well, the answer is all in our psychology.
It feels like a paradox, doesn't it? The target is often someone who really prides themselves on doing the right thing, on being a good citizen. You'd think they'd be the least likely to fall for it, but their sense of duty is actually the key to the whole scam.
First off, scammers are masters at exploiting what's known as authority bias. It's just a natural human tendency to trust someone who sounds like they're in charge. The scammer doesn't sound like a crook. They put on this stern professional persona. They use all this technical jargon,
talking about meter locks and field status updates. And they do it in this calm, official-sounding tone. It's a performance designed to make you feel like you're talking to a real representative, not a thief.
And this leads us to the central trap of the whole thing. The scammer takes a person's best quality, their deep sense of responsibility, and turns it into a weapon. The victim is thinking, I am a responsible person. I handle my business. I need to fix this mistake now. The scammer turns their conscience into a tool to make them comply. Their desire to do the right thing makes them the perfect target.
And what all these tactics, the urgency, the fake authority, the fear, are really designed to do is trigger something called an amygdala hijack. This is a real biological thing that happens in your brain. Your emotional center, the amygdala, literally hijacks your rational thinking brain. You go into a state of survival panic, and in that state, you are physically incapable of spotting red flags. Your brain isn't analyzing, it's just desperately looking for the fastest way out of the danger.
Okay, we've taken apart their attack. Now let's build our defense. The key to the whole thing is breaking the scammer's control. And we do that by performing what's called an out-of-band audit. Basically, checking the facts through a channel that the scammer can't possibly control.
When you put them side by side, the difference between a scammer and your real utility company is night and day. Scammers demand immediate, untraceable payment. Think gift cards, crypto, Zelle. Real utilities send you official mail with lots of normal payment options. Scammers threaten to shut you off in 30 minutes. Real utilities give you written notices and grace periods that last for weeks. Scammers create pressure and secrecy. Real utilities want you to call and verify. This right here is your single most powerful weapon. It's the hang up, look up protocol. It's just 4 simple steps. 1. Hang up the phone. Don't debate, don't argue, just hang up. 2. Ignore what the caller ID said. Remember, that can be fake. 3. Go find your most recent paper utility bill and look up the official phone number. 4. Call that number yourself. That's it. This simple process breaks the entire scam every single time.
Now let's add a few more layers of armor. First, your paper bill is the absolute source of truth. If what they're saying on the phone doesn't match what's on that bill, you trust the bill. End of story. Second, know your rights. A lot of places have laws that actually prevent utilities from shutting off power in extreme heat or cold. A quick search can tell you if that's the case. And finally, create a guardian notification rule for yourself. Before you ever make a sudden emergency payment, you make one phone call to a trusted son, daughter, or friend. Just saying the situation out loud to someone else is often enough to break the spell.
We've gone through the mechanics, the psychology, and the defense. Now let's boil all of this down into one simple, powerful, and totally unforgettable idea. A mantra that can act like a firewall for your brain.
Please memorize this. Repeat it. Share it with people you care about. I hang up. I check my paper bill. My utility doesn't need a gift card. This is your script. When the scammer starts their performance, you already have your lines. This one little phrase contains the entire defense strategy we just talked about.
So let's just quickly recap the whole system. The utility shutoff scam is an infrastructure fear system. It uses manufactured urgency and authority bias to get around your common sense. It works by exploiting your trust in institutions and your very real survival anxiety. But the most important protective principle is this: real utilities never, ever demand immediate payment with a gift card or cryptocurrency. Your independence is protected by verification, not by speed. And always remember this: if the threat to your power only exists on that phone call, your lights are safe, it's your money that's in danger.